So I just got back from seeing The Conjuring Last Rites, and I just wanted to make this review on it because I wanted to just blabber about it. If you don't know the Conjuring franchise, you clearly have not heard the word horror before because the Conjuring franchise is definitely one of the biggest names in horror. It started out in 2012, I believe, was the first Conjuring film, and I'll say it, that film was amazing. I saw it when I was younger, and it really did scare the living hell out of me. I was couldn't sleep for days. I was terrified. And as I've gotten older, I've rewatched it dozens of times, and I've seen it has aged very well. It's a good film. The sequel to it was amazing. The Conjuring 2 was amazing. The other Conjuring films, however, there's about, I think, 10 in there. I know people are going to say 9, but there is 10 technically because there is a standalone film, The Curse of La Llorona, which takes place in the Conjuring universe. So that is a part of it's a part of that universe. But enough about the universe. So the newest movie in this series, The Conjuring Last Rites, just came out, and is it bad? To an extent, no. Is it good? It's all right. It's all right. It's a film that is actually supposed to be more of a send-off film. This film is the last. It's a film about the last ever case about that Ed and Lorraine Warren took. If you don't know, Ed and Lorraine Warren were real life demonologists who dealt with malevolent spirits, demons, in infesting people's lives. They dealt with them, they helped people, they cast the demons out. And this movie is supposed to be is based off of the true events of their final case. And this movie was obviously, like I said, it was meant to be a send off to the series and a send off to the characters. And I will just say this: the ending worked as a send off. The rest of the film tried to do too many things at once, and I say that because this film tried to subvert our expectations from from a Conjuring film. It also tried to be a family focused film, and when horror movies try to balance too many things at once, sometimes it can get convoluted, and sometimes it doesn't work. And unfortunately, The Conjuring fell into that group. It doesn't really work. So put on your scuba gear and let's dive deep. So the first, the opening scene, the opening of the film. I'm not kidding you when I say this. Within 35 seconds, there was already a jump scare. And that kind of set the tone for me. I was like, so this is really what we're doing. I get jump scares have become overused, cheap, and lazy. But if you know how to do them right, they work. Movies that do them right. I think the biggest example I can think of right now in my head are both Smile films. Those films take jump scares and use them so creatively. Anyway, enough about that. But that kind of was told me that this film is just going to be reliant on jump scares. And unfortunately, it was. And only like one of them actually got me, which is, and when I say got me, just made me go, oh, like I let out an audible. But besides that, all I kind of did was nothing that didn't really scare me. It just obviously made me jump because it was a loud noise. But the opening, they encounter a demon, and this demon, and Ed and Lorraine Warren encounter a demon, and Lorraine, and there's a quick flash across the screen. Lorraine is pregnant. It's 1964, I believe, and Lorraine is pregnant with their child, Judy. And she sees this mirror, this really creepy mirror with with I think cherubs on it. Those are like angels in the Bible that are depicted as like little babies with wings, cherubs. There's this mirror with 3 cherubs on it. She touches it because she heard it call her name, and a quick flash across the screen shows the baby inside of her belly, and then her water breaks. They make it to the hospital, and unfortunately, and I want to preface this: if anyone who is watching this video right now has either had to go through it or witnessed stillbirth, I am so sorry. That is a very hard thing to deal with. I cannot imagine it. I have no right saying I understand it because I can't. But her baby Judy was born stillborn, and Lorraine was upset. She was crying, and she prayed and prayed to God, and so did Ed. And eventually, Judy was brought back to life, which I thought was really sweet. So then I'm not joking, for the next 35 minutes, I was just so bored. I was just so bored because it only had like 3 jump scares, and it switched between the family who was getting haunted by the demon, and it's because the the girl, I think one of the oldest daughter maybe of the family, her confirmation at the church, she gets confirmed, and her gift for her confirmation is the same mirror that Ed and Lorraine Warren, well, mainly Lorraine, saw when she was pregnant with Judy back in 64, and this film takes place after that in 1986. So they get the mirror, and then obviously they spooky things start happening around the house. It cuts between Lorraine, the Warren family, and that family. I forget their last name. So many times for a good 35 minutes, I was just so bored because with the Warrens, Judy is dating a guy named Tony, and Tony wants to marry Judy, and they're getting that all sorted out. They're seeing spooky stuff. The other family's seeing spooky stuff. And that's what I mean when this film is trying to balance 2 things at once. It's trying to balance horror as well as a family drama. And it just doesn't work for the first 35 minutes. I was honestly so bored. And then it really kind of picks up the pace when the Warrens get a call about that family. However, they don't want to help because, and I really do appreciate this. In the last Conjuring film, The Devil Made Me Do It, which is Conjuring 3, they were helping out a family. Kid was possessed, making grrr noises and everything, and the kid ended up saying, "I'll stop your heart, old man," and like demonically stopped Ed's heart, gave him a heart attack, and because of that, he had a heart condition throughout the whole film. And they acknowledge that in this film, which I'm really glad they did, because I know a lot of horror films that have sequels, they sometimes don't even acknowledge the events of the last horror film. But this one did, and I'm glad. I really like that touch. They carried on the tradition of Ed and Lorraine Warren stopped doing their work because of Ed's heart condition, because he had suffered heart attacks. And I do like that. So things are really starting to kick in. And like I said, they don't want to help because of Ed's heart, and also because Judy just got engaged to her boyfriend Tony. So they don't really want to help. They want to focus on the family life and whatnot. And then someone who was close to them, Father Gordon, I think his name is, dies by a demon. However, I will give this film this compliment. The Conjuring films are mainly demonic possession films, and they have a few kills here and there, but you really don't see them. And if you do, it's kept it kind of feels more of a PG-13 kill. This kill with Father Gordon, actually, they just went full nuts to butts with this one. They showed him hanging himself, and they did not cut away. For a good 30 seconds, they showed him, probably less than 30 seconds, 20 seconds, getting up on the banister of like a 5-story church and then hanging himself. I really appreciated that. I was like, okay, good. Thank God you didn't cut away from a kill in a horror movie about demons who have the power to kill. Blah, blah, blah. And speaking of that, I just want to make this point. I don't know what was happening in the writers' minds, or even the demons' minds. So the point of this film, when it comes to the Warren family drama, the demon that first haunted them in 64 and tried to kill Judy has followed them. And there is a scene where Judy's trying on a wedding dress. It's a scene you can see in the trailer. She's in the room of mirrors, and the demon, is there, and she can't escape, and the demon is like touching her face and really getting up close to her. And I was thinking, oh my God, this is probably one of the smartest demons ever, because this demon wants to kill Judy. Do it. It doesn't. It touches her face and roars and then disappears. You had the perfect opportunity right there. And then I was thinking, and then she's in a room of mirrors, so her reflection's all around her. Then one reflection is staring at her like this and tapping on the mirror. It breaks through the glass and it starts choking her, like just full on. Bleh. And I'm like, okay, maybe the demon's actually gonna do it. No, he just lets her go. What the fuck? If you want her dead, why didn't you kill her there? You had all the time in the world. Anyway, I'm sorry. That's just something I had a bit rant about. But The reason I say this film didn't really work as a send off or just as a good horror film is because it was so slow, especially that first 35 minutes was so slow. Started to pick up, but I realized they didn't know what to do. Like the writers kind of maybe didn't know what to do because at the end, it just felt so rushed. The end immediately just goes full throttle, get full, gas down, gas pedal all the way down to the floor. Like, the Warrens eventually, because of Father Gordon's death, they realize he was in Pennsylvania, which is where that other family was. They go there and want to help them, and they spend about a night there, literally a night. And immediately the next evening, all hell breaks loose, and it's just so rushed, which I didn't really like. I was like, okay, this, all right. So obviously, you know how these films end. They banish the demon. They banish the demon. All's well. Judy and Tony get married, and I will say that's where I said the ending scene works as a send off comes into play, because the ending scene is Judy and Tony's wedding. It's beautiful. There are cameos actually from people from previous films, the Glatzel family from The Conjuring 3, and then the Perron family from The Conjuring, the original, I believe, the Perron family. I could be wrong about that. But that's really sweet. And there's even a cameo from James Wan in there, which is really cute, which I think is wholesome because it's a send off to the series that he created because he helped with the original Conjuring. So that's a nice send off. The wedding happens, they kiss, blah blah blah. There's the after dance, and then Lorraine Warren says she had a vision about their future. They grow old together, and then they eventually pass peacefully. Judy and Tony have kids, which is really sweet. And the film ends with a dance. Them dancing at the wedding. And I kind of was thinking just like, okay. I mean, not like okay just as the ending scene. I really liked the ending scene. It was a good send-off. But just, this film was 2 hours, by the way. And it spends a lot of that one time just being a boring family drama and not much horror. Which I didn't really like. Which I didn't think, that's why I said the whole film itself didn't work as a send-off. The ending worked as a send-off. But yeah, that's my little rant about The Conjuring Last Rites. That's all I have to say about it. See ya.